we're trying to think of poetry, think of that idea of catching all the accurate emotion, the impression of something in a moment. The reason I say that is the two properties of poetry. Number one, we said the immediacy of the author in the poetry. You have a encounter with the author. They're not running away from you. You have this crazy encounter with them. You feel their heart. You hear what they're thinking. You feel their scoffing. You get it. You see the smirk on their face. You see the corners of their mouth turned up or turned down. Poetry, always, when it's in the form of literature, there's not an absence of this. You have this this encounter with the author that is, it's like a face-to-face. You don't get away from the author. So that's number one. And can we see that? So going back to those verses that I had read of John Greenleaf Whittier's poem, The Eternal Goodness, listen. O friends, with whom my feet have trod the quiet aisles of prayer, glad witness to your zeal for God and love of man I bear. I trace your lines of argument, your logic linked and strong. I weigh as one who dreads dissent and fears a doubt as wrong. Listen to this. But still my human hands are weak to hold your iron creeds. Against the words you bid me speak, my heart within me pleads. I'm going to stop right there. And it goes on and on. It's a beautiful poem. I love this poem. But did you see it? I mean, you're like right here with Greenleaf Whittier. You see him. You are hearing him. Here's another one. This is by William Wordsworth. This is called My Heart Leaps Up. I'm going to read the whole poem. It's very short. My heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. So was it when my life began. So is it now I am a man. So be it when I shall grow old, or let me die. The child is father of the man, and I could wish my days to be bound each to each by natural piety. You're right. This is Wordsworth. I mean, you're like hearing Wordsworth. Let me move to Shakespeare real quick. His sonnet number 116, one of his, obviously he's famous, period, but this one I think really steps out. A lot of people know this one. Let me not to the marriage of true minds. I'm just going to read the first few lines of William Shakespeare here. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no! It is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. I'm going to skip to the end. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Again, it's like Shakespeare's right here. This is him pouring out his heart. If this is not true and you prove me not true, I never ever wrote anything. And no man ever loved. This is like from the heart of Shakespeare. This is what he espouses. Same again with Wordsworth. And the same with Greenleaf Whittier as he's crying out to these people who are saying, no, you need to hold these creeds. You need to do it this way, right? And he's like going, but my heart's pleading to slow down. I can't just be so bold. So I hope you're seeing this immediacy of the poet in poetry. You don't get away from the poet in poetry, again, we can go back to, when it's in the genre of literature, we go back to Dickinson, right? What does she say? I am a nobody. Who are you? Right? And she goes on and she espouses the idea of not having to be that frog. What, by the way, imagery. A frog, croaking out their public reality all the day long. What an interesting way to begin to think about being in the limelight, or just being you, out, away, with nobody taking notice. That's an interesting way to think about it. But again, the whole point is, she is right there. Right there. And I think that's part of this impressionistic reality, where it's capturing that person, that author, in a moment. They're not speaking just for the world. They're not writing an essay espousing the ideas of this whole group. It's like, it's them. Now, others may ascribe to it, but it's them. It's them sharing themselves, what their very heart would express.